Hi everyone, this is Diane. I'm doing prep work for the Tale of the Squirrel journals, and I just want to talk a bit about how I am doing the prep work. This is one of those journals that will have a lot of elements involved. There will be fabric. I mean, I always use a lot of elements, but there will be fabric, there will be a lot of die cuts, there will be a lot of stamping, and just a lot of different elements. So I try to want to keep calm is the best way for me to say it, because I end up with stuff strewn everywhere. There will be fabrics and trims and textiles, and it will be a mess. So because I have the advantage this time of already having done the journals 3 years ago, and I don't have the physical journal that I made, but I have the video. So I can watch the video and make notes on what I want to do and what I need to create. So I think I will cut the pages, or at least some of the pages, so I know exactly what size the pages will be, because the cover will be different sizes than what I did before. So then I can make pockets and flips and things that will fit on these pages. I haven't cut the pages yet. So I want to just make some of the ephemera, and I have my stamps gathered. I found these stamps that I forgot about as I was pulling stamps, and I don't even know where I got them. At first I thought I must have picked them up at a thrift store or something, but I'm thinking maybe I got them from Amazon, but it's one of those inexpensive sets from China or something like that, because the stamps are very, very thin. But, I mean, they stamp beautifully, so I'm not worried about that. And they come with all the dies. You can see there are lots of little pieces too: mushrooms, butterflies, foliage, the acorn. So if I wanted to use those, I have them, and there are dies for all of that too. So I stamped these little critters on ivory cardstock, and I'm going to cut them out. You can see I already have the die taped on with washi tape, and I brought my Sizzix over, my Big Shot. So I have this all prepped and ready to go. Let's stamp them. So these were not a part of the original books, and I said that I was going to make them as close to the original as I could, but I also have some newer things to add. So I'm going to cut these out, and I'll cut out 2 sets, one for each journal, and we'll just see where I can use them within the journal, maybe even just on a journal card. I put this dryer sheet underneath the plate, and that's not going to do a bit of good down there. But I didn't really need it for this because the cut isn't intricate. Look how cute that is. I don't know if I want to color them or leave them the way they are. I guess I'll just wait and see where I decide to put them. If I leave the tape right on them, maybe I can use the tape again, because I'm going to stamp 2. I'm going to do 2 sets. They are adorable. I don't even have packaging or a name on those. Many times when you order from Amazon and it comes from China, there's no branding on them. I don't know if it's a knockoff from somebody else, because I've never seen them. They are so cute. Let's see. I left a lot of space when I stamped, because I never know how much room is required for this. So I know I can put the fox here. were here and the squirrel here. So I'll just stamp those two pieces. I just keep this roll of washi tape in my die cutting supplies because it's not a roll that I use. So I just use it for this. And I will stamp the deer. These dies don't have a very wide border, so I have ink on my thumb. So there is lots of room. I'll remove those dies later, but now I have two sets of these adorable little critters. I also die cut a lot of numbers in brown and a rust color and black, different sizes and styles of numbers. I have several numbers dies sets, and I saved the negatives because I know I used some of the number negatives in the other journals. And oh, and I cut 2 Polaroid. My mother was calling me again. I'm sorry, we always get these interruptions, but and you all understand that I always have to take it when she calls. And I don't tell her that she interrupts a video. I never tell her that because I don't want her to be afraid to call me. So anyway, I think I was showing you these, the Polaroid die. So I have 2 of these cut in this color. I found this yellow tag that I thought I could use. I only have one. And these payroll deduction, they're cards with the computer slot things in them. So I'll probably use those for some kind of a tag or something. Also, while I was talking to my mom, I looked down on the floor because I had this North American wildlife book that I showed you yesterday that I ordered, and then I took the jacket off it and it was on the floor. And I just looked down and saw this and I thought, oh, I don't need to cover a black cover with fabric. I can use this for the second journal. So this will be the cover for the journal that will be in my shop. And I'll probably do some sort of collage on it anyway. It just won't be the same as I did on last time. So it'll probably have something like that on it. And I don't know if I'll use this. I just want the little chipmunk to show. I could put that there. So, you know, it could be a collage like that with a nameplate and some other things. We will do that. And of course, this one is mine. I don't know what I'll put in the middle there, but it'll probably have a little critter or something there. What else did I want to say? Oh, so I was talking about planning and preparing so I don't make too big of a mess. So I'm going to try to make a lot of the ephemera before I actually start constructing. I might put the book covers together, but I don't know if I'll do that today. This week is kind of weird because today is my daughter's birthday, and we were going to do some stuff, like I have to make her a cake today. And she's going to come over and, you know, have her cake and open her gifts from me, and then she was going to help me work on my Disney puzzle. And then tomorrow's my birthday, so I have plans with her tomorrow. And my son is going to make dinner for us both tomorrow. So, you know, today and tomorrow I'm just kind of winging it on whatever we're going to do for birthdays. And I already got my gifts from her, as I showed you, because they gave them to me while Teddy was still here. So I'm just kind of, I don't want to really get too much involved today. So I thought I could just make ephemera, do the die cuts, make ephemera, maybe cut a few pages. I don't even know if I'll do that, but that's my plan. So let me talk about the stamping I'm going to do. In the first journals that I made, I did a lot of layered stamping. So in addition to using the animals, mushrooms, and these kind of stamps, which I showed you in yesterday's video, and I did find the animals that I told you I didn't know where they were, and then I remembered where they were, so I got them out. They're from Stampin' Up. So I have several sets of woodland animals because I love woodland animals. But in addition to these things, I use other kinds of stamps for layering. I use this one. This is a really old one from Stampin' Up. It's 1998. So it's a wood, like branches stuck together to make a corner. So I know I use that in the other journals. But here's a little stamp that it's in French, but it says Botanical Garden. And this grid, or I would more likely use this one because it's irregular. I bought this at a flea market or thrift store. And then I also used just kinds of pretty patterns, and I stamped them lightly on my pages along with some script stamps and leaves. And I showed you these yesterday. I did use some of these last in the other journals. But I also, in watching my video again, I used this stamp quite a bit. So I'm going to get that out and have it handy. And I don't think I needed any of the others. Maybe this one. I'll just keep the whole set out. And I just got out a bunch of stamps that could be used for some of the layered stamping, like the speckles there, this script. I don't know if you can see it. Script. And this is these dots there. I know I won't use all of these, but it's nice to have the selection here ready. Maybe these. I didn't have these 3 years ago when I made the first journals, but I could put them on a journal card. And I have these. There's a cheesecloth there and this plant, and it has the text here with the French word fleur. Botanical, you know, so I might use that. That's a Stampool set. And then these were knockoff stamps, and I don't use them that much because they are very poor quality, and the stamp comes off, slides off that, but they're small. The pattern is smaller than the Tim Holtz ones. They're not actually a knockoff of his. The design, the idea is his, but these designs are different. And then there's more of them, and it's a smaller shape. So I might use some of those. And here's another grid pattern that is irregular. So that's something I could use. Or this, or this, I thought maybe. And some script up here. So in order to have all of these stamps available, I will have my table on wheels. I'll have that pulled closer to me here. And I will have these and the inks on that table. So I'll just have them handy for whenever I need to do the stamping. So I think that might be all I'm going to do today. Let me see. Well, I'm going to kind of prep my book covers so I can at least get the size of the page. So I'm going to cut the cover off. And I'll see how the size of this compares to the size of the one I'm using. Well, let's use a knife. This is 5 3/4. So I think I'll make the pages 5 1/4, or maybe 5 3/8. Yeah, let's do 5 3/8. I better write that down. I am terrible at remembering numbers. So this is for the green book. 5 3/8, so that would be, for the full page, 10 3/4, right? 6 6/8 would be 3/4. Okay. By 9 1/4, so I will make the page 8 3/4. This book is so heavy. I know I could measure it with the cover on, but I have to remove it anyway, so. Oops. Wow. Slam. It's so pretty. Okay, this blue ruler is hard to read. This is 6 inches, so I will make it, I'll make it 5 1/2. Or 11 inches. 11 inches. So it's just a quarter, the pages will be just a 1/4 of an inch wider when they're open, so 1/8 of an inch wider when they're folded. So very, very close. Let's see how the top measures. This is kind of a beveled edge on these. It slopes down. It's about 9 inches. So again, 8 3/4. So it's about the same. So that's good. That'll make it easier for me. So I'm going to go ahead and cut one of the pages. I like to have a cut page to help me as I make flips and pockets. So one of the scrapbook papers, I'm pretty sure I want to use this one. So let's cut this one. And I'm going to cut it the 11 by 8 3/4 right now. And that might be good enough. I might be able to do them both the same size. 8 3/4. I decided I'm going to buy a new mat and a new one of these. I cut into this. I cut off the corners because they curl. They were curling up and just driving me nuts. So I cut the corners off, all the corners, but they're curling again. And then I cut into this by mistake the other day. So I'll keep this to make messes on, but I'd like to have a new one. Let's see how this looks. I might even want this to be a little bit shorter. Yeah, just a tiny bit shorter. So we'll go from 8 3/4 down to 8 5/8. I just trimmed off 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, I like that better. And this size is good for that. So I'll just use the same size for both. So let us change that right now. Both covers are going to be 8 3. Which one did I? Okay, 8 what did I do? I can't even remember already. 8 5/8. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, but I wasn't sure. 8 5/8 by 11. That's the size for both. 8 5/8 by 11. So that's obviously the height. I wrote it backwards because I need to know the width first. So just so I don't confuse myself, let's do that. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry that you guys have to live in my brain for a few minutes while I'm doing this stuff. I'm going to try to use this for something. And if not, I'll save it for another project. I'm not going to waste that beautiful marbled paper. So now that I have a page, I'm going to at least make a couple of pockets because these are easy. These first pockets I'm going to make, they are the digital pockets, but I make them a little bit bigger by adding them to cardstock. So I have 1, 2, I think I need 3 for each journal, so I'm pretty sure I'll have to print some more. Yep. I have 5. Oh no, I have 6. Okay, so we have a critter on 2, and then the rest don't have a critter, but they're collaged. So that's good. So I'm just going to take probably just some craft cardstock and make pockets out of those. I'll be right back. I will be changing my thread in my machine to a dark brown. And let's see. Let's keep the pocket just away from the edge a little bit. So about 5 inches, could be 5 1/8. And then after I glue this piece down to this, I will sew around it with black thread or dark brown thread. Let's do 5 1/8 first. Perfect. And this is, let's try 3 inches, and if I want to cut it down, I can. No, I think we'll leave it like that. And then I will cut down in here, or at least maybe not all the way down, but I'll just make a cut there. Okay, let's make this pocket. I won't do the sewing right now. the sewing is just decorative because I'm gluing it. I'll have to let the glue dry before I sew it. Okay, so now to make this look better, I'm going to round the top corners. And just cut. And it's not going to be perfectly even because I can't do that. But I will round, I'll just round it with my scissor. But the stitching isn't going to be perfect either. It's going to be, you know, especially going around this curve. I'll probably go around it twice and it's just going to be kind of wonky, so I don't mind that that is wonky. And then to make it even better, I will add some ink. I should have inked that before I glued it down. And I don't know if this will go on this page or another page, but look how nice that looks. That's a fun pocket. So that's a good start on ephemera. Maybe I should soften these edges too, since I'm going to do the outer one. So I'm not going to ink all these right now, but I already made a list. I don't know if I think I brought it down here with me, but I just also piled a bunch of stuff on my table for this video. But I made a list of things that I could start making, like these pockets. Yeah, I don't see it right now. I'll tidy up my table after the video and I'll find it. But let me show you. The kit comes with these banners, and I made clusters out of those. So I could make those clusters. And I also could embellish the tags. There are 6 plain tags and 6 with the critters on them. Like that. So I have a lot I can do, just here and there. And I guess that's where I will leave you today. I'll get all these pockets made, and then I'll see what I can do about making the decorating the banners. And I'll have to make some fabric flips. So yeah, I've got a lot of prepping I can do before I actually start constructing. I'll see you in the next video. Have a creative day. Bye.